Good evening and welcome to the 18th Annual Shils Awards. Welcome to our family and friends, to our board of directors for their support throughout the years, and most importantly to tonight's honorees. This is our first virtual event, and we really look forward to sharing the essence of what makes the Shils Fund so unique and different. It's our various programs, our mentoring, encouraging tomorrow's leadership, and of course, recognizing outstanding engagement by tonight's honorees. The presenters will be members of the Shils board, very important VIP members of industry and the clinical community who have helped us gain the kind of recognition that the organization deserves. Tonight we have over 350 registrants for the program, and we hope it's going to be both interesting, stimulating, and we encourage each of you to use the chat and or ask questions of the program this evening. They'll be answered when possible this evening, but they all will be answered as we go forward. Tonight, again, it's our first virtual event, and we can only thank all of you for your interest in the fund and its programs and by joining us tonight. Right now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a dear colleague and fellow board member of the Shils Fund, Mr. Keith Dreyer from Henry Schein, who serves as our vice president and the associate in this program for years. Keith, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon on the West Coast, and there are some people in other countries as well. So thank you all for being here. It's now my pleasure to introduce Stan Bergman, Chairman and CEO of Henry Schein Inc. since 1989. Under Stan's leadership, Henry Schein has grown to 19,000 Team Schein members. We operate in 31 countries, and for the last 19 consecutive years, Henry Schein has been a Fortune World's Most Admired Company. Stan's extensive accomplishments would take the entire evening to read, so please check them out at henryschein.com or online. To learn about one facet of what makes Stan such an exceptional leader, I encourage you to look at some of his thought-provoking LinkedIn posts, such as the role we can each play in mitigating the spread of COVID and how accessible care is equal care. Tonight, I have the privilege of introducing Stan to you. 20 years ago, I was privileged to be introduced to the phenomenal Ed Shils by Stan. I always appreciated the time Ed gave of himself as mentor and role model. Ed created the concept of entrepreneurship, and many Team Schein members, including myself, are grateful that Stan has embraced this opportunity for growth. It's now my great pleasure to welcome Stan, who will share his insight and personal stories about Ed.
Thank you, Keith. It is indeed a pleasure to be part of the 18th anniversary for the Shils Fund. Nearly every year, it has been my privilege to remember Ed at this event. And this year, we have added a special treat of wishing Ed's beloved wife, Shirley, a very happy birthday a little later in the program. You'll be introduced to Shirley a little later. But the fact is that I remember Ed every day, not just once a year. I remember the man in my daily work, and so many Team Schein members and others in the dental industry remembered Ed in our daily work. He was dedicated to education, that he earned a record number of degrees over 60 years of involvement at his beloved University of Pennsylvania. In fact, 6 earned degrees and a number of honorary degrees, many of those. He pioneered the field of entrepreneurial studies and the concept of entrepreneurship, that is entrepreneurship in large organizations. And he had an entrepreneurial zeal and charismatic optimism that empowered everyone around him, especially young people who are now seeing the world from a business point of view for the first time. He would give each of us a push into the world and give us a shove of enthusiasm. He loved the dental community so much that he led the Dental Manufacturers and Dental Distributors of America for decades. Two separate organizations, which he was the executive director for decades. He recognized the need for interprofessional collaboration across the entire healthcare spectrum, including many segments of dentistry, bringing together all the constituents on a regular basis. He built bridges between industry, academia, and the healthcare profession. And he particularly supported, I might add, the underdog, and generously nurtured, mentored, and coached those of us who were lucky enough to know him. His work was so wide. In his latter years, he took on being the assistant DA for the elderly in Philadelphia because he felt that the elderly were not being treated properly. If I shut my eyes, I still see Ed's face and hear his voice, encouraging me to reach higher, to think bigger, and to try even harder. And I'm certain that many others attending this virtual event have even greater images than I do. We all have these great images. I'm certain that many others attending this virtual event have similar lingering images of Ed. Ed served as a mentor to so many of us, encouraging us, facilitating our connections to others who share our goals, and demonstrating an entrepreneurial zeal and an enduring quest for learning that few, if anyone in my life, in fact, I have never met anyone that matched Ed's entrepreneurial zeal and the zeal to connect people. Ed would say the world is not 6 degrees of separation, but 2. And my goodness me, he connected us. People that did not even know we had things in common, Ed connected us. In my study, I have right next to me a letter that Ed Shils sent to me on October 28, 2004. But I will read one paragraph, which is a lesson to every single business person in academics or research. Do not take the future for granted. Look at the past and then predict the future, or project the future even better. Too many great companies have failed in the last 50 years because they have no idea of the nature of their company and its potential in allied lines. For example, in Philadelphia, the Baldwin Locomotive Works manufactured steam engine locomotives for the entire world. They had 50,000 employees, and never once did they see themselves as being in the transportation industry, only in the locomotive manufacturing industry. They did little or nothing with dieselization, electrification, and the new hydro technology. The net result was that their sales dwindled to an occasional sale of a steam locomotive. Remember, Dr. Shils' key lesson to all of us is think about reinventing yourself regularly. Is a picture from the Chicago Midwinter Meeting of Ed Shils and Art Tagoni, who sadly just passed away, on the podium at the Chicago Midwinter Meeting, addressing the profession and the industry. What was clear in these two great individuals was the notion of entrepreneuring, reinventing, one education in dentistry, the other one entrepreneurship in an academic sense, both leading to practical applications in the real world. Look back at Ed's achievements together. We will do that, and look forward at his enduring legacy. But like me, I hope that you remember and are inspired by Ed's much more than once a year. Ed's spirit lives on in those who met him every day and those that met him, transporting that vision to others rapidly. And so that concept of Ed Shils, of entrepreneurship, connecting the dots, networking, lives on in every one of us who are interested in the Shils Fund. We should keep Ed's vision clearly in our minds and his example strong in our hearts. And we should work together to expand the impact of the Shils Fund so we can pass Ed's enduring legacy from generation to generation. Ed's vision and zeal was shared by another beloved global dental leader who we lost too soon. Dr. Larry Meskin, Dean of the University of Colorado School of Dentistry. editor of the Journal of the ADA, and co-founder of the Santa Fe Group. Larry so embodied the spirit of Ed that we established in their name, in the two jointly connected names, the Shils Award, which we present to extraordinary dental leaders who have made a significant positive impact on the oral health community and the health of the public. And today it is my great pleasure to present this well-deserved honor to my great friend and Larry Santa Fe Group co-founder, Dr. Michael Alfano, who has done remarkable work for dentistry. In selecting Mike for this recognition, the Shils Fund Board of Directors considers, of course, many qualities, and of course, saw those qualities in Mike and the programs that Mike has spearheaded, in fact, inspired and spearheaded: originality and creativity, breadth of impact, engagement of multiple constituencies in the dental community, expandability and renewability, reproductibility, demonstrated leadership, inclusiveness and diversity, and synergistic effectiveness. Those qualities accurately describe Mike Alfano. And for those of us who have had a privilege of knowing Mike as a friend and close collaborator, I'm sure you will agree that this award really describes Mike's attributes: his passion to serve others, his steadfast commitment, and his, yes, visionary zeal. In addition to co-founding the Santa Fe Group, Mike is Professor, Dean, and Executive Vice President Emeritus of the New York University. It is my very great pleasure to introduce the recipient of the 2020 Shils Award, my good friend, the good friend of the dental industry, the profession, Dr. Mike Alfano.
Thank you, Stan. Really appreciate your kind words. You're always so very kind to me. Much appreciated. I also want to thank the Shils Entrepreneurial Fund for honoring me this way. And I want to thank all of the amazing people with whom I've had the privilege to work with at New York University, both at the dental school and in university administration. I've also had the privilege of having some wonderful colleagues at the Santa Fe Group, who are a group of people with an unending passion to improve the health of the citizenry. But beyond that, there are four special individuals who I'd like to call out tonight. Two of them are people for whom this award is named, and for whom I have luckily had the opportunity to know personally. And the other two are two individuals from Henry Schein. So let me start by acknowledging Ed Shils. I never worked directly with Ed, but I got to know him as he was a coordinator of the Dental Manufacturers Association, and the company I used to work with was a member. And I was always amazed about Ed's ability to get these scores of companies, mostly small companies, together in common cause. And he provided great service to them by looking out for them in the regulatory arena, and also in terms of marketing their products. I got to know Ed in another way because for a number of years we both served on the advisory board of the dental college at the University of Pennsylvania. And I could see what an enormous help he was to the then dean of Penn. And while we're at it, since University of Pennsylvania often hosts these awards, I'd like to call out the current dean of the University of Pennsylvania, Mark Wolf, who was a colleague of mine at NYU until Penn wisely decided to make him dean. So he's doing a wonderful job there, and the great legacy at Penn Dental continues. Second person, of course, is Larry Meskin, for whom the award is also named. Larry was a founder of the Santa Fe Group, And I, of course, got to know him extremely well. A very bright, engaged individual who had compelling ideas. And so it was no surprise when the American Dental Association made him editor of their journal, a role which he filled for 10 years. And he always pressed dentists to think. I remember at a time when the Santa Fe group was concerned that not enough dentists were doing oral cancer exams, he wrote an editorial called Use It or Lose It. This was designed to show dentists that if they weren't doing the oral cancer exams, then it would default to physicians, nurses, whomever. And arguably, oral cancer is the only condition for which a dentist can save your life. So Larry was that kind of person who could galvanize a profession. Along with his editorials, several other things happened. And over a period of 8 years, the number of dentists who did oral cancer exams actually quadrupled. So it's a great honor to accept an award that is named for this great thinker, Larry Maskin. Third person I'd like to acknowledge specifically is Steve Cass. Steve, as you may know, is president of the Shils Entrepreneurial Fund, but Steve is sort of everywhere, and he's very much engaged in societal health, particularly oral health. He also serves now as president of the Santa Fe group, and I owe him a debt of gratitude as a founder of Santa Fe, because he's just taken the group to an entirely different level. Obviously, when you know someone as long as I've known Steve, there are many stories you could tell, but the one I'd like to tell is the one about when New York University decided to move its College of Nursing into the College of Dentistry. Seemingly unusual move. Many people didn't understand it. I won't take the time to explain why it was so important, but suffice it to say that the dental community, organized dentistry in particular, was very concerned about this. There's a pecking order, perceived pecking order, physician, dentist, nurse, dental hygienist. And by making this move, it was perceived that NYU was interrupting that pecking order. So there was an outcry. The university was steadfast in its belief that this was the right thing to do. Turned out to be great for both the College of Nursing and the College of Dentistry, as they each moved into the top 5 in their areas. But more importantly than that was that Steve helped craft a resolution to how the profession would accept this move and the university could move forward. That led to a paradigm change by which every health profession's educational facility in the country was required by the various regulatory bodies to add interprofessional education to their curriculum. So that became a requirement for accreditation. And that might not have happened had Steve not intervened along with Stan. It also led to the creation of Oral Health Nursing Education Program, a program that was started by Judy Haber, a nurse at the NYU College of Nursing. Judy became a spokesperson for nurses paying attention to the oral health of their patients. Finally, I'd like to thank Stan Bergman directly. I've known Stan for over 20 years, and I've known him from afar, and I've known him from up close. From afar, of course, it was always watching how he was guiding the Henry Schein Company to ever greater success. And Henry Schein has become a dominant company in the oral health space and also in medical space in the world. His people highly respect his leadership, and there's a connection among the people at Schein that you can see they really enjoy working together. Of the many things that I could call out about Stan, his philanthropy, his leadership, would be his willingness to engage with various groups and institutions around the country that he believes have an opportunity to improve society. So for example, he led the advisory council for the New York University College of Dentistry when I was its dean. And Stan, unlike many CEOs who get appointed to these various advisory committees, shows up. He goes to the meeting and he participates in the meeting. And if there's a reception or if there's a program, he speaks at the programs. So he's an engaged leader, and he's engaged in all of the aspects of improving oral health around the world. He's an advisor to the Santa Fe group, and he goes to the Santa Fe group meetings. So I owe him a debt of gratitude for his support of the institutions and organizations with which I've been affiliated in my career, but also for his personal support. If there's a health issue in my family, Stan is one of the first people to be in touch and see if he could help. So Stan, you're terrific. Once again, you've been very kind to me. Thank you so very much. And thank you to the leadership of the Shils Entrepreneurial Fund.
Thank you, Mike. Dr. Alfano, on your well-deserved award. It was really great to hear you acknowledging Stan and Steve and others, and I totally agree with you, and all of us say we probably couldn't have said it better, so thank you. Actually, NYU is pretty meaningful to myself as well. Both my parents met there when they were college students quite a while ago, and if my father from Brooklyn and mother from Queens didn't meet at NYU, would have been a different story. So thanks again, Dr. Alfano. It's now my pleasure to introduce George Wolf. George is president of DMG America, a leading manufacturer and distributor of quality restorative, dental materials, and preventative products. He has the unique experience of literally growing up in the dental industry. George sits on multiple industry and civic boards, including the Shils Fund, the American Dental Assistants Association Foundation, and the Dental Trade Alliance Foundation. What George contributes to outside of the dental industry is really so admirable. The Shils Fund is proud to contribute to the Dental Trade Alliance Scholarship Fund. Under George's leadership, he enables us to recognize outstanding students with a track record of community service in oral health and public service leadership. Welcome, George.
Thank you, Keith. It is my pleasure to introduce the 2020 winner of the joint Edward B. Shils Entrepreneurial Fund and Dental Trade Alliance Scholarship winner. Dr. Shils was a driving force behind the success of the dental industry, and its legacy will live on and continue to shine well into the future. It is because of his insight, forward thinking, and leadership that the Dental Manufacturers Association of America, the DMA, was created. He led the organization for over 50 years, and with his guidance and steering, the DMA aligned and formed into the Dental Trade Alliance in 2003. The DTA today represents over 170 companies in all dental industry segments. The Dental Trade Alliance is the dental industry's voice, leading the way on advocacy, education, market data, regulatory affairs, outreach, and philanthropy. And speaking of philanthropy, the DTA in 2005 created the Dental Trade Alliance Foundation, an organization with the vision of creating a healthy smile for all. The foundation is trying to accomplish this by increasing access and utilization of oral health care by broadening the understanding of oral health care's impact on overall health. The foundation awards grants to innovative pilot projects as well as dental student scholarships. The dental student scholarship portion of the foundation was started in 2012 in an effort to improve dental education in the United States. 2 $5,000 scholarships were given out that year. The next year, the Dr. Edward B. Shils Entrepreneurial Fund partnered with the foundation to provide an additional scholarship and has been doing so ever since. These scholarships are very special, and the students who receive them are quite amazing. Applicants need to be third or fourth year dental students with financial need who have high academics, strong commitment to service, and as well be nominated specifically by the Dean of their dental school. I am proud to present the 2020 winner of the Dr. Edward B. Shils Dental Trade Alliance Foundation Scholarship winner, Christine Witt. I'd like to share her scholarship application video at this time. I think, like me, you will come away wondering how she actually has time to become a dentist with all the community service she engages in. And you'll agree that she's clearly on the path of becoming a future leader in this profession.
Hi, my name is Christine Wynn, and I'm a current third year at A.T. Still University at the Arizona School of Dentistry and Oral Health.
Coming to dental school has really been a dream come true, but all my dreams really started with my family. I grew up in Orange County in Southern California, where my parents settled when they came over from Vietnam. I was always taken care of by my aunts and uncles, so I grew up taking care of my cousins too. The opportunity to attend UCLA really opened my mind to volunteering. The work that made me feel the most empowered was volunteering with activists that encouraged positive body image and mental health in youth, especially young women. At A.T. Still, I was able to continue that mission with the ASDO Association of Women Dentists. We organized a feminine hygiene drive with the nonprofit Go With The Flow to create period packs to be distributed at schools in the Phoenix area to girls in need. I volunteered at Maggie's Place, a hospitality house that supports pregnant and parenting mothers to provide oral hygiene and nutritional education to these new mothers. These experiences tie directly into A.T. Still's emphasis on serving the underserved and dental public health. For the past 3 years, I advocated at the state capitol with the Arizona Dental Association for legislation that would increase dental Medicaid coverage for pregnant mothers in Arizona. These experiences are not only about dentistry for me. It's about the opportunity to use my voice to lift women up and give them a healthier and better life. Service will always be important to me. The times I feel best about myself are when I can make others feel safe and happy.
What do I want out of my dental career? I think I just want to continue empowering others through health education, advocacy, and helping others find the confidence that they need to be their best selves. And hopefully with love and compassion, we can make the world a better place, right?
Thank you to George, your entire team, and everyone at the Edward B. Shils Entrepreneurial Fund. Thank you for all of your kind words. I really cannot express enough how grateful I am to have received this honor. As a fourth-year dental student at the Arizona School of Dentistry and Oral Health, I'm currently going on external rotations at Indian Health Service clinics in Phoenix and Winslow, Arizona. So the scholarship is helping me to participate in those. My future plans also include orthodontic residency, so the scholarship is truly helping me to achieve all of my career goals and stay committed to community service. Thank you all so much for your continued support.
And thank you, Christine, and congratulations again.
Hello, my name is Dr. Fodi Panagakos. I am currently the interim dean at the West Virginia University School of Dentistry and also a member of the board of directors of the Shils Foundation. It is my pleasure and honor to present the 2020 Excellence in Academia Award to Dr. Richard Valakovic, President Emeritus of the American Dental Education Association and also visiting scholar at the NYU College of Dentistry. Rick, this is both an honor and a pleasure. When I was asked to present this award, I was words cannot describe how I felt, considering the long career that we've had together, both as colleagues and friends. So it is truly a pleasure to present to you this award, which is well deserved. So what I'd like to do, Rick, is just ask you a few questions. We have a wonderful career behind you and you're still actively engaged in education, but I think it's good for those who don't know you really well to maybe ask you a few questions and to learn a little bit more about yourself. Okay. So again, I think first and foremost, Ed Shils was a colleague to both of us. Obviously, you did a lot of work with him over your career, and I'm certainly he would be really pleased to hear that you got this award. Your relationship with Ed Shils and how you worked with him?
Well, thanks, Bodie. First of all, this is truly an honor for me. I did indeed work closely with Ed Shils especially when I first joined ADIA. He was then executive director at the DMA. We collaborated to build the membership of our ADIA Corporate Council, enhancing the voice of the dental trade in the work that we were doing.
Great. So, you've really spent in dental education. So how did it all get started, and where did it lead you along that path?
I grew up in upstate New York, and I went to dental school thinking that I was going to return there to open up a private practice. But my life changed when I was at the University of Connecticut as a dental student and then a pediatric dentistry resident Children's Hospital in Boston. I got the research bug, not the laboratory research one, but the health policy research one. And that led me to a faculty career at the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, and then to become president and CEO at ADIA.
Well, that was I guess, very fortuitous getting that research bug. I had the same situation in my career.
Exactly.
And had a gentleman by the name of Dom DiPaolo steer me in that direction many years ago. I was a dental student, missed very much, obviously. So obviously, you've been with ADIA for a long time and involved in education, and your leadership is widely recognized, not only in the dental education space, but in the broader health professions education space. I think now more than ever, you'll agree that we're living in a time where leadership at all levels is sorely needed. What do you believe are the most critical asset of a strong leader?
Well, I really believe that the key attribute of a successful leader is the ability to instill hope in those whom he or she expects will follow them. It is a talent to identify a future that's better than the present one, giving them hope and a path to that future. So certainly giving hope is critical for leaders at a time of crisis or tragedy, obviously, but it's also helpful to leaders on a day-to-day basis in meeting the goals of whatever organization or community they hope to lead.
Great, thank you. Your work at the American Dental Education Association included extensive outreach to other organizations, not only within dentistry, but within the broader health professions. What did you learn from these collaborations?
Well, Fody, my mantra throughout my tenure at ADIA was to relentlessly pursue strategic alliances, a phrase that I referred to by the acronym RIPSAW. When I first started at ADIA, dental education was yet to be a player in the world of health professions. I started building strategic alliances with other dental organizations, then with other health professions, and then with a higher education community throughout the university system. This allowed ADIA to help fulfill its role of being the voice of dental education, and I think we truly became the voice of dental education within the dental community and far beyond.
And I commend you for all those efforts, because I think they're bearing fruit, and I think in the current crisis that we're in, they're even more important than ever. So thank you for that. So just to close out, thinking about the future and instilling hope, we also need to prepare the next generation of leaders to show the way to the future, not only within education, but also clinical practice. That's going to be the ways we learned, obviously, and even the current crop of students that are learning right now, and also how to care for their patients. I know this is a big question, and it's, we don't have a lot of time to go into it, but just from your perspective, how are we going to do this? What's going to be the path to success?
As we think about hope, and I truly believe that's critical, but we also need to be thinking about the ability of leaders in the future to be adaptive. The COVID crisis is really a prime example of that. It's great to be able to provide hope for a better future, but how do we be adaptive as well? Fody, you and I graduated from dental school at a time when change happened relatively slowly. Now change happens daily. Our graduates this year will still be practicing in 2060. Think about that. That's a long ways away. Lots going to change. The procedures that our dental students and allied dental students and dental residents will have mastered as they leave this year, but will likely be obsolete during their careers. So we need to ensure that the next generation of leaders is well prepared to adapt to these changes. Just think of the technology changes that are yet to come. Virtual learning, artificial intelligence, far beyond Zoom, far beyond the computer capacity that we have now. Demographic changes in our dental workforce and in the US population. And the future is certain to be more team-based, both in practice and in our schools and programs. So how do we prepare future leaders to provide hope, but to be adaptive to change? And I think that's what we need to be thinking about as we lead these the next generation.
I fully agree with that, and I'm living that every day actually here as we navigate not only the current crisis, but also providing hope and also setting the table so we can take advantage of all these advances that are coming through as we speak. Well, Rick, listen, this was a wonderful honor for me and opportunity to present this award to you on behalf of the Shils Foundation. Again, congratulations from myself, but the board, as well as the entire community that you've served so admirably and selflessly for so many years. So congratulations and thank you again.
All right, thanks, Lord.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to present tonight at the gala. And I'm Lois Cohen, formerly Associate Director of the NIDCR, National Institutes of Dental and Craniofacial Research at the NIH for Global Health Research, a number of other positions I held before. And currently am the Paul G. Rogers Ambassador for Global Health Research and a consultant to NIDR and on the Shils board. And it's my honor tonight to present the 2020 Innovation Award for Research to a colleague in our own institute in our intramural program at the NIDCR in Bethesda, whose research has been very central to the COVID-19 pandemic and its mitigation. Blake M. Warner is has a Bachelor in Biochemistry, an MPH, a PhD, and a DDS, and is a dentist scientist, oral pathologist in our intramural program, who has been leading since August 2019 the salivary disorders unit in our Sjogren's syndrome clinic. He leads a multidisciplinary clinic focused on disorders of the salivary gland. So this research that he has proposed and has executed turns out to be very important in today's world of COVID-19. And he had proposed a unique project to the NIH. It was reviewed and accepted on the transmissibility and viral load of the coronavirus in oral secretions. The objective was to determine if the virus is present in oral secretions of COVID-19 positive patients. And he designed a study to determine if using masks can prevent the transmission. And this study has greatly informed our community on how COVID-19 is spread among people and how it can be presented. So it's with great pleasure that I have the honor to present Dr. Warner with the 2020 Innovation Award for Research, and let Blake himself give you some insights into his findings.
Sure, thank you so much, Lois, for that introduction. That was wonderful, and I'm very humbled to receive this honor. So thank you to all those who were involved in the nomination process as well as awarding this award. Yes, I'd very much like to talk a little bit about how we came to this. And I think that being in the intramural program afforded some possibilities that might not have been available to me if I was working in the extramural environment, including the interaction with colleagues that are specialists in virology, that are specialists in executing clinical trials and clinical research studies, and then having on hand a phenomenal clinical research team to help me construct not only the clinical study, but also these very the specific aims to help understand the dynamics of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19 disease, and how it can be transmitted through oral secretions. I want to go back to how this all started. This started with a conversation in mid-January with my research mentor, Dr. Jay Carini, who's a virologist. And we had this thought, this conversation, and this is how things happen in science. Sometimes it happens in the hallway. And we said, you know, this is going to be a lot like SARS-CoV or SARS-1. And there's a possibility that this virus uses the angiotensin converting enzyme 2 as a target to enter cells, or an entry factor. And Jay kind of asked me, do you know if it's expressed in the salivary glands? And I didn't know the answer right off the top of my head, but I did have results from a technology called single cell RNA sequencing, where we take a tissue such as the salivary glands that we procure in the clinic, part of my Sjogren's syndrome clinic, and you break them up into individual cells, and you sequence each one to look at all the genes that are turned on or turned off in each individual cell. And then using that cell's transcriptome, you can map, basically show which cells express certain entry factors. And we did that off the cuff sort of calculation. And it pointed to the salivary glands, in fact, likely to be vulnerable to SARS-CoV-1. And right then we said, you know, it would be interesting if we could get a hold of some saliva to see if in fact saliva was infectious. For me, it's what I've been doing for the last 7 months, every day, 12 hours a day.
How exciting and how important to the nation and to the globe, for that matter. Just a question, what kind of mask? We have so many masks out there. I assume,
Sure.
Were you using N95s or?
We were not using N95s. You know, N95s right now are in short supply, and they're really only useful for healthcare providers, right? Where you're going to be exposed to potentially infectious aerosols. They're intended to reduce aerosol transmission. But just a simple cloth mask, and this could be the one that you receive, let's say, when you go to the doctor's office, or it could be one that I use when I'm driving to work, which is a cloth mask that really just covers your mouth and nose. Right. Both of those tend to reduce the amount of droplets and the velocity of those droplets when they shoot out of your mouth, because even if we don't think we spit very much when we talk, we all do, some more than others. And it really is about interrupting that path, okay? So you have a cotton layer or some sort of fiber, it seems to both disrupt the ejection velocity, but also can capture some of those larger droplets. And so I would say that any mask really will do. The only masks I advocate against are ones that are ported, or that have little valves on the side.
Yeah, I can breathe better through those.
Yeah, but they help. Yeah, unfortunately, they help no one. They don't help the people who are using them to be more protected, and they don't help others to be less likely to be infected. So they help you breathe better, but I would say that the effort that you have to breathe through a cloth mask is it's very tiny difference. So.
Well, thank you. That's very, very exciting. And we're very proud of your work, not only the Shils board, of course, but of course our whole NIH is. So thank you, Blake.
Yeah, so thank you to the Shils board for this award. Thank you to Larry Tabak for nominating me for the award. And thank you to basically my whole team for helping get this done. It really is an award that I'm receiving on behalf of my team because I couldn't have got any of this done without them. They really do keep this machine well-oiled and moving forward. And I'd also like to thank my collaborator at UNC. His name's Kevin Bird. And maybe for the last 4 months, he and I both were interested in this question. And we've been working in tandem most hours of the night to try to get this data disseminated. And I think it exemplifies the best of NIH, the best of dental research. He himself is a DDS PhD that kind of came up in the same cohort as me. And it shows that really dentistry can make a huge difference, not only for US public health, but for world public health as well. So thank you.
Well said, well said.
Wow. Thank you, Lois, and thank you, Dr. Warner. Dr. Warner, you're remarkable. What you just talked about was so relevant, pertinent, timely, essential for all the oral health practitioners on the call and laymen alike. So thank you very much. We're now in for a really special treat. We have the opportunity to celebrate the remarkable Shirley Shils' 100th birthday. Until just a few years ago, Shirley was an active member and valued contributor of the Shils Board. In honor of Shirley's birthday, we are asking for donations to the Shils Fund. Please join me in recognizing Shirley's incredible milestone with a donation by using the link that you can find in the chat box. The money we raise will support and recognize sectors of the oral healthcare community, and we will contribute to entrepreneurial initiatives which yield a positive and sustainable impact in the oral health arena. Let's keep the legacy of Ed Shils and the Shils Fund going strong.
Husband and I, Ed Shils, had a wonderful relationship. I would go to his functions at all the dental meetings, learned a lot about dentistry. I could be the host at most of the meetings. Many times we brought our children and enjoyed them being there with us. And we look forward to each event. Well, the Shils Fund was set up by Stanley Bergman in honor of Ed Shils. He was thrilled to be part of it, and they raised money to give awards to people or companies that have done a lot in the field of dentistry. Was always a great time when we had the dinner and the awardees were recognized. We're sorry, of course, this year we won't be able to do that. I certainly congratulate all the award winners and I wish them good luck and lots of success for the coming years. When we celebrated my birthday, even though we couldn't really have a great party, we did it on the computer. A few people were here. And so we did celebrate It was a wonderful day. The phone rang off the hook and flowers were coming every half hour. So it was a great day. Well, we certainly enjoyed being at the conventions and many times with our family. It was a great experience for all of us. I could even tell my own dentist what to do or what not to do. He may not have appreciated it, but at least I knew. So I do appreciate all the friends that we made in the dental organizations. And I want to thank those who wanted to put this together to honor me. If getting to be 100 years old is an honor, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Wow, that was inspiring. That was really special. Happy birthday, Shirley, and may your birthday, special birthday, start better times for all of us. Actually, before I introduce our next speaker, I want to thank our Shils Fund Executive Director, Jamie Peroskin, who is there for us, is behind the scenes, and makes us all look good at all our events. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Tony Montemuro. Tony, a dental industry veteran, is past president of Dental Manufacturers of America, where he enjoyed a very close association with Ed Shils. Tony is also former chair of the American Dental Trade Association's Manufacturers Section and World Trade Committees. He's an active volunteer in many local community organizations, and if you didn't know it, Tony is a world-class sailor. Tony is chair of the Shils Fund Marketing Committee and will share with all information of some of our incredible beneficiaries. Ed Shils was known for his pursuit of innovation and change in the dental industry, and he would have loved what the Shils Fund is accomplishing today. Today, we honor Ed's vision to inspire, connect, build, and drive innovation and entrepreneurial systems for social good. Please take it away, Tony.
Good evening, everyone. I had the distinct privilege of working with Ed Shils during his tenure as Executive Director of the Dental Manufacturers of America. Ed's talents and accomplishments are unparalleled, but as an industry leader, he notably excelled in motivating young new leaders to pursue innovative ideas for the advancement of industry growth and social good. Ed left an indelible impression on countless people. And as we approach the Shils Fund's 19th year anniversary, we continue in his footsteps. I know that Ed would be thrilled to see that the person and fledgling young organization that I have the pleasure of introducing tonight epitomizes the entrepreneurial and creative spirit that Ed so passionately fostered. But first, by way of background, permit me to briefly summarize how we arrived at this point. In 2018, the Shils Fund initiated a first-of-its-kind program to recognize and support dental student projects destined to benefit multiple levels of the oral health community. Shils' introduction of this program was in line with an important element of the Shils Fund's mission: to build bridges to success for the next generation of healthcare leaders. In just a few short years, the Shils entrepreneurial program has now become an annual Shils event. Shils has partnered with several organizations, including DICE, to enhance and sustain its impact. To date, 4 dental student competition and social entrepreneurial leadership conferences have been held: 2 at the Jacob Javits Center in New York, 1 at the Union League in Philadelphia, and 1 at NYU's College of Dentistry. The Shils Fund's Board of Directors has provided oversight as well as financial and in-kind support for the advancement of these collaborative programs. As a result, the dental student entrepreneurial programs are now poised for expansion. To maximize success, we have engaged with DICE, an organization that is closely aligned with dental students and recent graduates, and that has the foundation to support such programs. DICE, through its co-founder, Dr. Elise O'Kelly, has participated in the Shils Fund events. DICE has identified an unmet need for specialized education related to the fundamentals of entrepreneurship and core business practices. In this regard, DICE has conducted several live dental student pilot programs designed to cultivate innovative oral health initiatives and sharpen key business competencies. Given current COVID-imposed limitations, DICE is now prepared to transition from live to interim virtual training programs. To enhance our strategic plan interest, Shils, as DICE's founding sponsor, has entered into a multi-year partnership agreement with DICE. In addition to financial support, the Shils board is extending to DICE guidance, mentor recruitment assistance, and industry networking. DICE is recognizing the Shils Fund through DICE's social media platforms, along with reciprocal board membership. So with this basic background information, and on behalf of the Shils board, I am excited to introduce Dr. Elise O'Kelly. Elise has stellar credentials and has been a leader in the founding of DICE. She is eminently qualified to lead in the advancement of our mutual interest. Just a brief fundraising note, as you've been hearing about funding, you have an opportunity to become a supporter of this new innovative program, along with support for the Shils overall mission. More information about the ways you can help to sustain the Shils legacy will be forthcoming. In the meantime, please feel free to make an initial contribution tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you. And with that, I turn the program over to Elise. Elise, welcome.
Thanks so much, Tony, for the introduction. And I want to thank Steve Kess and the Shils Fund for the opportunity to be here with all of you tonight. When I met Steve Kess and Stanley Bergman at the 2017 Shils Award dinner in Philadelphia, I was a second-year dental student at Penn Dental and had just launched DICE, which stands for Dental Innovators, Creators, and Entrepreneurs. At the time, I had no idea the amount of support I would receive from the Shils Fund family over the next few years. Fast forward to today, and DICE has evolved into DICE Incorporated, a 501c3 organization. With members at dental schools throughout the Northeast region, we are dedicated to empowering dental students and new dentists for their futures in oral health. We provide education and resources to our members who aim to become entrepreneurs in dentistry. We have about 30 members at 7 different dental schools across the Northeast, including Penn, NYU, Harvard, and others. Our goal is to have a presence in every dental school across the country and eventually around the world. Like everyone else, our plans for this year had to change due to COVID-19, but we've taken this opportunity to bring our community together virtually. Since March, we've kicked off our Startup 101 seminar series, where we give our members an opportunity to have open discussions with dental entrepreneurs from companies like Quip, Coco Floss, and more. DICE is getting ready to launch the first of its kind course curated for new dental professionals, and we look forward to continued growth in our development of dental entrepreneurs. DICE's success has been made possible solely through the sponsorship we've received from the Ed Shils Entrepreneurial Fund. With this generous contribution, DICE will continue to provide opportunities for new leaders in dentistry and embody the legacy of Dr. Shils. We are so grateful for the man, his life, and his legacy, and we are thrilled to have the opportunity to have the support of his namesake's organization. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Mondock. I'm the president of Septodont for the Americas, and I'm a Shils board member. It's my great privilege to introduce the recipient of our Excellence in Industry Award, to Robert Ganley. After graduating from St. Bonaventure University with a degree in mathematics, Bob received his Master's of Business Administration from the State University of Buffalo. Bob then began his professional career with KPMG in finance. And in 1980, he moved to Ivoclar Vivadent as a vice president. He was named president of Ivoclar North America in 1990. And in 2003, he was appointed chief executive officer of Ivoclar Vivadent in Shin, Liechtenstein, and remained in that role until his retirement in 2019. Bob currently serves on Ivoclar Vivadent's board of directors. Bob is a true global leader of an international company, spending half of his time in Europe and half in North America and other global markets. He has a deep understanding of the global dental industry and its customers, and he has led a movement to aesthetic dentistry with the launch of the Aesthetic Revolution, and moved the company and the dental market forward to the new digital aesthetic revolution. As chief executive officer of Ivoclar Vivadent, Bob spearheaded the charge for quality aesthetic dentistry, a vision that earned him distinction worldwide and has advanced and expanded the industry. Today, we are recognizing Bob for his outstanding leadership of Ivoclar Vivadent and his innovative research and product development programs that helps the dental profession improve the quality of care for its patients. His leadership, dedication, and service have also advanced the field of prosthodontics, where he took Ivoclar Vivadent from a manufacturer of artificial teeth to the world leader in restorative and aesthetic dentistry. Bob's leadership is not just dedicated to high quality aesthetic dentistry, he is also personally committed to supporting education and improving access to oral health care for underserved populations. Among other projects that he's been a part of, he was the initiator for the Wisdom Tooth Project in the USA. This is a program which strives to improve the lives of older adults, especially those who are vulnerable to oral disease. Bob has been published extensively in global dental journals and lectured throughout the world, and he's received many awards for leadership and commitment to expand oral health care, but actually too many to mention during our allotted time tonight. Once again, I'm so proud to present this Shils Excellence in Industry Award to Robert Ganley, who in the true nature of Ed Shils has always been a visionary and transformational leader who by initiating the aesthetic revolution has led the charge to make dentists better at what they do. Thank you and congratulations, Bob.
Paul, thank you very much for your very gracious comments, and a most sincere thank you to the Ed Shils Entrepreneurial Fund for this award. I'd also like to right now congratulate the other recipients, Mike, Dan, and others. I only wish I had the opportunity to be there with you tonight together so I could shake your hand. Welcome everyone to a very special evening. I'm very proud to be here as both a recipient and a participant. Now a short comment on the award, the Excellence in Industry Award. It recognizes leadership and it recognizes innovation and product development. So I have to say I was the leader of a management team that I thought was the most talented in the industry, but I was a more participant in that team than I was a leader. I led the research and development group, but I was much more of a participant than a leader. These are very good teams. I was a better participant than a leader, to tell you the truth, but thank you for that recognition. So what's my story? You told it very well. Maybe I can add one dimension to it. I ran the North American business for 29 years as its president, and I was the global CEO for 17 years. I lived in Europe and the US for 20 years, commuting every other week back and forth. I used to say I have the best job in the dental industry, but the worst commute to the office. When I started my leadership position, we were an unknown company and really very small, but we had a very good team. We had a good idea and a clear vision. We believed in aesthetic dentistry. We believed in better dentistry. And we believed and had confidence in different. We believed in innovation, but not innovation by chemistry, but innovation that creates opportunities for dental laboratories, opportunities for dentists, and opportunities for patients. We believe that aesthetic dentistry was quite simply better dentistry because it's what the patient wants. We wanted to, and we did, invite people to join us in this revolution of dentistry, this revolution of aesthetic dentistry, which became known as the aesthetic revolution. Still today, it forms a foundation of the strategies for Ivoclar Vivadent through its digital aesthetic revolution and its restorative aesthetic revolution. Finally, receiving this award from the Ed Shils Entrepreneurial Fund reminds me of 2003 when I received the Transformational Leadership Award from the DMA. That evening, I was handed that award by Ed Shils, and by the way, to my right was Stan Bergman receiving the same award, so I stood among giants. That was a very special evening of which I am very proud. And Ed Shils, in the memory of Ed Shils, he was a very, very special person. Tonight, I receive another award, Industry Excellence, from the Ed Shils Entrepreneurial Fund. I am extremely proud to receive this award. Thank you very much. I want to wish you all again a very nice evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Hi, I'm Margaret Scarlett. I'm a retired captain from the United States Public Health Service, and I'm pleased to be here today to present the award, co-present the award with Dr. Leslie Grant. I want to just say that this is an award for excellence in a nonprofit organization, and we have two outstanding recipients of this award. With COVID-19, we thought we had a sprint. Instead, we have a marathon. Since it has been so long and will continue to be with us for a while, and we have two candidates who should be recognized for their unwavering contribution for excellence through a nonprofit organization. And they have been the Olympic torchbearers in this relay, passing on all the information and education about the safest dental practice. So, and through the Organization for Safety, Asepsis, and Prevention, this is a nonprofit that is a growing community of clinicians, educators, researchers, and industry folks who have advanced safe oral health care. And Eve Cooney and Kathy Eklund are the co-recipients of this important award. I'm going to introduce Eve now. Eve Cooney is a hygienist and vice chair and chair-elect of the board of OSAP. She is also a member of the National Occupational Research Agenda Council for the Department of Health and Human Services. Ms. Cooney is a consultant to the American Dental Association Council on Dental Practice. She's an associate professor at University of Pacific, Dugoni School of Dentistry in San Francisco. And during this pandemic, she and Kathy have devoted many, many hours to keeping dental practice safe, continuing to work with nonprofit organizations like OSAP, as well as with government agencies, universities, to develop the best practices in infection control. And they've really done an amazing job in this relay race and holding up that torch and lighting the way for the rest of us to keep dental practice safe. So we thank you very much. Leslie?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Margaret. And good evening, everyone. I'm Leslie Grant. I am a member of the board of directors for the Ed Shils Entrepreneurial Fund, and I serve on the community impact and governance committees. It is indeed such a great honor to be here virtually with all of you as we recognize a great and enduring force in promoting safety in the dental profession. OSAP, the Organization for Safety, Asepsis, and Prevention, has, for over 35 years, been a leader in advocating for safe delivery of oral health care by promoting the safety of our patients and the safety of those who deliver care. OSAP engages clinicians, educators, researchers, and industry volunteers to work together to keep us up to date on late-breaking and critical developments. How so very appropriate for us here at the Ed Shils Entrepreneurial Fund during this global pandemic to recognize Kathy Eklund and Eve Cooney. for their steadfast and continuing leadership and commitment to OSAP and to enhancing our knowledge of current infection control practices. I am going to introduce Kathy Eklund. Kathy has contributed so much to the breadth and impact of our understanding of the importance of application of infection control principles. Kathy Eklund is an author of the CDC Guidelines for Infection Control in Dental Health Care Settings, 2003. She helped to put into clearly understandable language the compilation of the standards that we apply in our offices to keep us all safe. From the very beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, she has been there for us, on the forefront of helping practitioners navigate through rapidly evolving guidelines. She reassures us with her calm perspective and delivery, answers our questions, and engages all aspects of the dental community and advocates for accuracy. Currently, Ms. Eklund is the Director of Occupational Health and Safety and is the Forsyth Research Participant and Patient Safety Advocate at the Forsyth Institute. She is a member of the American Dental Hygienist Association Task Force on COVID-19, Interim Guidance on Returning to Work, and is a consultant with the American Dental Association's Council on Dental Practice. She has been an active member of OSAP since 1985 and served as chair of the OSAP Board of Directors for 2017 through 2019. Before preparing my introductory remarks, when I asked Kathy if there was something special she wanted to include, she replied that she wanted everyone to know that she has received more both personally and professionally over her many years of involvement with OSAP than she has contributed. This is a gracious and highly skilled woman. I have great respect for her. It is my great pleasure and gratitude to welcome co-recipient of the Shils 2020 Excellence in a Nonprofit Organization Award, Ms. Kathy Eklund.
Leslie, thank you very much. And I also thank you for your time spent with OSAP on the board of directors and as chair, and continuing the ongoing leadership of OSAP over the years. I'm so humbled by this award. OSAP has meant a great deal to me since the very beginning when I joined in 1985, with the contributions that I made really are under what I received. Helped me in my work with the Forsyth Institute, my work with the community health centers. And over the years, I've learned so much from my colleagues in OSAP. It's a very apolitical organization, bringing together healthcare professionals, researchers, educators, and including partnerships with other professional organizations. And over the past year, our ability to bring together our members to help to facilitate other professional organizations in this response has been amazing. So I thank all the members of OSAP for this, and especially my dear colleague, Eve Cuny. There's no one I would better share this with than Eve, a good friend, a good colleague, and a true expert in infection prevention and control. So I thank the Shils Foundation for this award, and I am very humbled and honored. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'd like to join Kathy in thanking you, Dr. Scarlett and Dr. Grant, for your kind introductions today, and also the Dr. Edward B. Shils Entrepreneurial Fund for selecting my good friend Kathy and I to share in this award with OSAP, an organization that we both care deeply about. I echo the sentiment that when you work with a volunteer organization like OSAP, that you always get more out of it than you give. And I think that's why when you know people that volunteer with nonprofits and other organizations a lot, it's why they continue to do it. It's just so rewarding. OSAP started back in the 1980s, in the mid-1980s, as you mentioned, in response to the AIDS pandemic. And we see so many parallels today. But the great thing is we've had 35 years of increasing knowledge, of evidence-based practice, and information that's helped us respond to this pandemic and helped OSAP be a leader in helping dentists and other dental professionals in providing a safe environment for care. And one of the things that I've also learned over these last 35 years of working in infection control is that any organization or individual is only empowered by the relationships that they develop. And OSAP has been responsible for the most rewarding relationships that I've developed, both professionally and personally. And I'll always be grateful to OSAP for that. So again, I want to thank you for sharing this award with me and Kathy, and with OSAP. We're all extremely grateful.
Congratulations to these co-recipients, Eve Cooney and Kathy Eklund, for their outstanding work on infection control through a nonprofit, OSAP. Thank you very much. And as a board member of the Ed Shils, along with Dr. Grant, congratulations and best wishes. You deserve it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Best wishes and congratulations to both of you. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Wow, we had some great segments. Congratulations to all our recipients, Eve and Kathy, Robert, just fantastic. Actually, we heard a few minutes ago from Dr. O'Kelly, and she's very humble. What you didn't come out is that she treats an extreme underserved and financially challenged population, and she works full-time. She does DICE full-time. She's the amazing person that gets things done, and Shils is fortunate to have her, and she's going to have a phenomenal career. So it's now a pleasure to introduce Dr. Alan Finkelstein, the CEO of Bedford Health Care Solutions and former Chief Dental Officer of AmeriChoice United Health Group. Alan is a longtime proponent of integrated dental and medical care. He actively and passionately supports numerous community philanthropies and dental outreach missions for the underserved. Alan is the Chief Dental Officer of the Alpha Omega Henry Schein Holocaust Survivors Oral Health Program. This program gives dignity and free treatment to Holocaust survivors living below the poverty line. And Alan is so passionate about that. Alan is now going to present one of the Shils marquee event awards, the Cohn-Volpe Award. This award is named after Dr. D. Walter Cohn of blessed memory and Dr. Anthony Volpe, visionaries recognized for their contributions to the field of oral health. Thank you, Alan, for presenting.
Hello, good evening. Alan Finkelstein, the Vice Chair of the Shils Entrepreneurial Fund. It is my pleasure to present the Cohn-Volpe Award. The Cohn-Volpe Award is given to an individual who has made outstanding contributions to dentistry and its allied sciences. The award is named for two distinguished clinicians, researchers, and educators, Dr. Anthony Volpe and the late Dr. D. Walter Cohn. I am honored to present this year's award to Dan Perkins, Chairman and Founder at Aegis Publication. This award is given to Dan in recognition of extraordinary lifetime achievement in the advancement, creation, and dissemination of high-value published educational materials and practice-based solutions for all oral health professionals. The award also recognizes Dan for his outstanding philanthropic commitment to the entire healthcare community. Dan is a true legacy who epitomizes the teachings of our beloved Tony and Walter. Dan, congratulations.
Thank you, Alan, for that very kind introduction. You know, when one looks at the list of Shils Award winners, past and this current year particularly, it's astonishing to me that I could be on that list. It's a truly humbling experience, and I thank the board for this recognition. To be chosen for the Cohn-Volpe Award specifically is a source of deep personal gratification for me, as both Tony Volpe and Walter Cohn have played significant roles in my professional mentoring and have personally guided me in both my career and my outlook on life. These are and will remain very special friendships, which I hold very dear. Walter taught me how to think in this business, and Tony taught me how to be in this business. And if I have made any significant contributions to this field that we all love, it's Walter and Tony's voices at work. While they were giants in their field, they taught me that no one is bigger than the cause or the goal, and that the way forward is easy when you know it's right. My sincere thanks to the entire team at Aegis that makes our mission attainable, and my special thanks to you, Alan, and again to the entire board for this great recognition.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Terry Dolan, and as a member of the Shils Board of Directors, I have the distinct honor of introducing the next award to an amazing dental public health colleague. Rear Admiral Timothy Ricks has been selected to receive the 2020 Special Recognition Award as a public health leader and for his important work to create the COVID-19 Public-Private Partnership Dental Coordination Group. His vision and deep commitment to the public's health drove him to create this innovative network, including governmental agencies and public-private organizations. Tim's efforts to communicate and coordinate among a broad range of partners and connected the oral health community in an inclusive and important way. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the collaborative facilitated critical updates on topics including guidance from US federal agencies such as CDC, OSHA, and the FDA, as well as health agencies outside the US, which help provide a global perspective for members of the group. He provided a forum for networking and exchange on topics, including PPE, testing, and vaccine development. Rear Admiral Ricks has a rich history of service to our country, and he currently serves as the 19th Chief Dental Officer of the U.S. Public Health Service, as well as the Assistant Surgeon General. He has served in the U.S. Public Health Service for more than 20 years and is the recipient of numerous awards and honors. In addition, he's currently overseeing the development of the second ever Surgeon General's report on oral health, and we're all looking forward to the release of that very important report. It is such a great honor to present Rear Admiral Ricks with this special recognition award on behalf of the Shils Fund.
Thank you, Dr. Dolan, and I would like to thank the Edward B. Shils Fund, the Board of Directors, and especially Mr. Steve Kess and Dr. Terry Dolan for this 2020 Special Recognition Award. You know, when 2020 started, many of us in the oral health community and in public health had labeled this to be the year of oral health. After all, with the impending release of the second ever Surgeon General's report on oral health, the release of Healthy People 2030 oral health objectives, the 75th anniversary of community water fluoridation, and more, it certainly seemed to be shaping up as a wonderful year for oral health. But as we all know, COVID-19 has changed the world in which we live. This pandemic affected oral health professionals significantly, and oral health seemed to be on the sidelines, especially in the early stages of this pandemic. As the Chief Dental Officer of the U.S. Public Health Service, I saw this pandemic as an opportunity to open communication networks. In oral health, we aren't just confined to silos between oral health and our fellow healthcare professionals, but also we're limited by the many silos that we have created within the oral health community ourselves. Dental organizations often don't share information with one another, and even within the federal government, there are silos that exist between federal and state agencies. So in early March, I decided to create the COVID-19 Public-Private Partner Dental Coordination Group. The public part of this group were dental representatives from 10 federal agencies, and the private part of this group included presidents and executive directors from over 20 different dental and public health organizations spread out across the US. What I'd hoped to gain from convening this group was to get them to share and coordinate information and messaging related to COVID-19. This group continues to this day, and we continue to communicate on a weekly basis, mostly through electronic means, on COVID-19 issues. And now we're making the slow transition to non-COVID issues, such as the recent Food and Drug Administration recommendations on dental amalgam, Healthy People 2030 objectives, the Surgeon General's report, community water fluoridation, and other issues. If we in oral health wish to work in one united voice to realize the vision of fully integrating oral health and overall health, the first step is to break down the silos that exist within our oral health community itself. I hope that what I started is a necessary first step to make that happen. I appreciate all the internal and external stakeholders and partners who convened as part of this group, and especially those that reached out in the very beginning to communicate with one another. We can continue to work together and share with one another as we show our colleagues that oral health means much more than just healthy teeth, and it truly is integral to the overall health and well-being of all Americans. Again, I'd like to thank the Shils Fund and the board for their recognition, and I humbly accept this award on behalf of all of those that represent the COVID-19 Public-Private Partner Dental Coordination Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And on a personal note, as a fellow public health dentist, I can't tell you how proud I am of the amazing work you've been doing to really advance and support the public health community during these challenging times. So thank you and congratulations. I wish I could hand you this award in person, but this is the next best thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Kaplan from the Shils Board, and today we are giving the 2020 Special Recognition Award to Dr. Carrie Hexam from the Philadelphia Fight program, where she instituted a dental program to the organization that brings quality care to populations that have been fighting for access to care, starting off with the AIDS and HIV population. And Dr. Hexam went through the process straight out of dental school to establish a program at Philadelphia Fight in dental, and has blossomed that to a 9-chair, fully functional, comprehensive care program. Dr. Hexam, congratulations on receiving the award. And can you just talk a little bit about the impact that this program's had on your patients?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kaplan, and thank you to the Shils Fund. I was thinking about how things have changed so much in the past several months with COVID. As Dr. Kaplan mentioned, we had a 9-chair operatory. Right now we're running out of 3 chairs. And we're doing a lot of teledentistry, which we hadn't ever done previously. And I was thinking specifically about teledentistry and the impact that it's had on our patients who have not been patients of record. So one of the things we decided was that we wanted to be available to the whole community for teledentistry, not just for existing patients. And so this was unusual. Most of the places in town were only seeing existing patients for teledentistry for very understandable reasons. But we started getting all of these calls from people that had nowhere to go, that their tooth had been acting up for a while. They'd had antibiotics, it started acting up again, or their tooth had broken the night before and they were in pain. And with video chat, you can see people's backgrounds. So some people were at home and some people were walking in the park, and some people were in commercial spaces. So, you know, they were like at a Target or at a Walmart, and we realized that actually we were getting phone calls from people that were working, and that they were calling us either during their work breaks or not during their work breaks. They weren't able to get away from work. And to be able to have that initial conversation and to talk the patient through an antibiotic prescription and how to manage pain, and then to schedule them to come in on their next day off, was actually something that we had not been able to offer to people previously. So, you know, we really strive to be there for the whole community, and we're continuing to strive to do that even in this unprecedented time. And I just feel really grateful for the support of Philadelphia Fight and for the Shils Foundation as we continue to innovate in our access to care. So thank you, Dr. Kaplan.
That's great. And as you continue to evolve, Michael Marsico, who is the Chief of Staff for Philadelphia Fight. Michael, where do you see the organization going in the next steps with all the great work that you've been accomplishing throughout the region?
Well, as a mission-driven organization, we go where the needs are, and it could be the needs of our clients. We survey them annually, and that was the other thing. Not only was it Carrie's, strong argument for a fight to create a dental clinic, but it was also us surveying our client base, our patients who said they want dental care, quality dental care, hopefully within the skin of Philadelphia Fight. So with that, that was another strong argument. And as I told you, or I tell folks, the board and the senior staff, we didn't blink. When it was brought to us with this need and the desire of our clients, we went forward with it. Obviously, we have our own financial constraints, but with that, we also created a pediatric clinic, an adolescent clinic. And so we go where the need reveals itself to us. When COVID-19 hit, a lot of organizations took a step back. We took a step forward. We went into the neighborhoods. We bought tents. We are doing COVID-19 testing in South Philly, North Philly, the Golden Mile, as they call the Latino neighborhood up here. We are out there, and we are out there in the heat, and we'll be out there in the cold, making certain that folks who don't have walk-up access to COVID-19 testing get tested. We are moving in, hopefully by early summer next year, into North Square. We're creating a pediatric center and affiliating with the North Square Community Alliance, where the old St. Bonaventure Church used to be. With that, we'll have some dental care. We'll have a lot of space for us to expand. And again, another area that is actually in desperate need for pediatric care. That's great. They have their center, the child care center, where it'll be just very convenient for folks to come over. So we see it, with that, whatever presents itself to us, and then also the needs of the clients. And, we have job training. We help folks write resumes. We're in the prisons, making sure that when folks get out, they come to us, and we have an A to Z. We walk through the steps of how to get access to care and get access to housing and get access to all the other things they'll need to get back on their feet. So we go where it's needed.
Well, that's great, Michael. And I really, from the Shils board, your work has been fantastic, and we really appreciate, and we're honored to be able to give you this award. Continue your great work, continue to advance forward, continue to take care of the community, and especially the populations of the community that aren't empowered to fight for themselves, that you fight for them. So we appreciate it. It's our honor to give you this award, and hopefully we'll get some follow-up and find out what you're doing as things go forward. Thank you again, and congratulations on the 2020 Special Recognition Award from the Shils Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry, and all of our presenters this evening. I want to thank and all of the audience that has been with us since 6:30. It's a little over 8, and I want to be very brief because I don't want to abuse your evening time. Happy birthday, Shirley. 100 years. Congratulations. I think this year's awardees represent a broad spectrum of recipients from the public and the private education and government agency sector. This was a forward-thinking, diverse, and very relevant group to pick for the 2020 Shils Awards. I want to thank all of our board, all of the members who have helped us produce tonight's event with their time and their commitment and their talent. Special shout out to our executive director, Jamie, and also to the Dahlia Plus agency for doing a phenomenal job in helping us develop, produce, and present tonight's program. On behalf of the Shils Fund, we hope to see you next year in person, and also to remind all of you to help support the organization as it continues to innovatively approach the importance of entrepreneurism in dentistry. Have a great evening. Be well, be safe. Thank you, and have a great night.